I wanted a little change of pace today, so I'm going to use the sign I got from Dollar Tree back in the fall and this calendar page that also came from Dollar Tree to make a simple calendar decoupage project with a Valentine's theme. I'm going to use a piece of this contact paper to cover up the already designed side and just start with a fresh blank side on the back. And then I'm going to use my mini sander to go ahead and clean up those edges and take off any parts that might be hanging over. And then I'm going to use some of this wire to poke through the holes that are already there so that I can use them later. Now I'm going to use some of this ink color chalk paint to give just a rough coat on the back side of that so that the calendar lines don't shine through from the opposite side of the page that I'm wanting to display. It doesn't have to be a really full coverage, just enough to kind of camouflage any of those lines that might peek through. And then I'm going to apply a layer of Mod Podge, making sure that I get really good on all of the edges and smooth it out nicely in the middle. Then I'm going to apply my calendar page and smooth it out. Now sometimes as this is drying, it does make wrinkles, so I like to spray a little fine mist of water on top, and I find that as it dries, it helps to kind of shrink my page up, and I don't have as many wrinkles on my finished project. Once that is dry, I'm going to use my mini sander again to go around and clean up my edges, get rid of any excess paper or overhang. And then I want to use some of this distressing ink. I chose the color Black Soot, and I'm going to go around all of the edges and distress the corners and some on the edges just to kind of give it some definition and make it look a little more finished. And then I'm going to use my wire again to poke those holes. I'm just trying to keep them in place so that I can reuse them. And then I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge to the top of my project to seal it in. You want to work from the middle out and keep your brush strokes all in the same direction. And you do want to make sure that ink dries really well before you add your Mod Podge on top, because it will smear it if it's not good and dry. Now I want to work on a little rag bow while that's drying, so I have a few pieces of material here that I'm going to rip some strips from. And then I'm going to use my mini bow dabber to hold my material in place while I stack my bows. Now if you have material that's the same on front and back, you can just layer it back and forth. But if you have some material that's only colored on one side, then you're going to want to lay that down in the middle like I did, and fold the ends over so that the colorful part is showing on top. And once you have all your layers on, then you can kind of cinch up your twine there and flip it over and tie your knot in the back to secure it. And I am going to use that extra string to tie it onto my hanger, so I'm going to leave that long for now. And here I'm going to use that wire to add a hanger to my picture. I'm going to stick it in from the back, use my little pliers to kind of twist it in a circle, and then I'm going to wrap it around the handle of this sponge brush to add a few loops and just give it some character while I'm adding it to the top. And this is just a piece of 18 gauge copper wire that I got from the jewelry section at Hobby Lobby. Once that looks how I want it, I'm going to glue my bow onto the side of that. Then I'm going to flip it over and tie it with the string just to give it a little extra security. And then I'm going to fluff it out a little bit and kind of give it that messy look. And then for the last step, I'm going to glue on some of these natural colored buttons, one to the center of that bow and one to the little hole that was on the calendar page to hide that, and use some of my black ink to just distress those buttons a little bit so they'll blend in with my project. And now we have just a simple little country Valentine sign, and I absolutely love what it says. I hope you like this simple decoupage project, and I hope it inspired you to get a little crafty. Have a blessed day.